live from Los Angeles. Welcome to Good Morning LaLa. I'm Dr. Erin.
Hi, I'm Rob Mack.
And I'm Jez Moyer. This is Good Morning LaLa Land, America's first live streaming daily talk show, coming to you live Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Also available on Apple TV and Roku via the EverTalk app.
Woo! It's hashtag Wealth Wednesday. We're going to talk about how to make the sale, which is really important. It's all about sales
It
today.
is. Everybody's selling something, right?
We come together each day to know the truth, live on spiritual principle, align with universal law, and have some great guests.
That's right. And welcome Jez Moyer back.
Yes, I missed you guys yesterday, and I'm so excited to welcome our very special guest today on hashtag Wealth Wednesday. Good morning, everyone, back in the studio.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We've got Lena, the co-founder and CEO of Alley Oop, overachieving products for overachieving women. Good morning.
Good morning.
So tell us, how does an entrepreneur like you start her day? What's your morning routine?
So I think when my daughter is not awake, I hide under the blanket and put on my headphones and start morning meditation. If she is awake, I try to hide into the bathroom and I'll just jump straight into morning gratitude. One of the two, I try to make it happen.
I love that. So no basketball involved, huh? I'm a huge basketball fan and I...
No, not yet.
All right.
Deborah Kagan is with us. She is a Mojo recovery specialist. Good morning, Deborah.
Good morning. So happy to be with you.
We're excited to have you on the show. So how do you start your day to get your mojo right?
You know, I have to say, over the last 6 to 8 months, a new practice has started. And that's the first thing when I open my eyes is to say thank you. And again, it's a gratitude practice, but you know, it is a privilege to have another day. And then the morning practice I get into involves meditation, some embodiment and movement practice, and a little morning ritual.
Oh, love that. So what's the embodiment practice consist of?
The embodiment practice can be different ways of actually moving the body. Sometimes it's getting on your hands and knees and doing what's called like cat-cow, for those of you that are familiar with some yoga. Or it could be some slow, just sensual moves to get in your body so you don't get right up into your head first thing.
Love it. Awesome. Gotta say, I have not done any of that.
Yeah.
Well, Rob, we got to get you into some embodiment. Maybe we'll do it this morning.
It's a big yoga practice for sure.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for being with us. We've got Chris in the house, the founder of Sukatan. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning. Hi.
So tell us, how do you start your day? What's your morning routine?
So I don't have any kids, but my kids are my team members. And so just like LaLa here, they are going to be kicking and screaming. So instead of putting my head under the blankets, instead I just lay in bed and I do my own meditation practice for about 5 minutes to help control my thoughts to get ready for the day. And then I journal for about 10 minutes, which is really important for me to make sure that I create the day as my own masterpiece, essentially.
Love it.
Fantastic. So do you journal your intentions or what do you journal about?
I journal my vision. So it's really important that the goal that I'm aiming for let's say the quarter for next year is my central focus. And so everything throughout the day just aligns with that exact goal essentially. So every decision goes right back to that. So it's really important for me to make sure that I reinforce that within myself so then I can reinforce it to the team.
Fantastic.
She's an entrepreneur at heart.
Yes,
for sure.
We've got a true digital innovator in the house. We're excited to welcome Chrissy Lawrence to the show. She is the CEO and founder of Plan. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
So how do you start your day? Please tell me it's not with Instagram.
I wish I could say meditation, but I wake up at stupid o'clock ready to go and I don't want to waste it. So 5:30, I'm flicking between the same 3 apps for an hour, which is Instagram and Slack and my emails to get ready for the day. And then I hit the beach in Australia and go for a walk before I head into the office and Plan HQ in Sydney.
Did she just say stupid o'clock?
Yes.
Oh my God. I wake up at stupid o'clock.
I wake up
too.
at stupid o'clock. It's a time.
So rad.
Well, thank you for being with us today. We've got Stephanie Yukama Carney in the house. She's a business mentor helping you slay shiny object syndrome. Is that right?
Yes, it is.
What is shiny object syndrome?
It's that thing where like entrepreneurs get distracted by everything, including Instagram, and doing all the things. So I like to say I kill squirrels, but that's a little bit on the harsh side. So I help entrepreneurs eliminate shiny object syndrome.
Love that. I think everybody pretty much suffers from that.
Completely.
Right?
So as a mom, I'm really good at helping people focus in on the right things that they need to do. And so I guess for me in the morning, I have a 4-year-old and a 1-year-old. So my mornings sometimes are woken up by screaming or little kids running in saying, "Mommy, mommy, mommy." But I have a very supportive husband who allows me at least 10 minutes in bed before I have to get up and handle the kids. And so I do my own morning meditation for 5 minutes. And then I also drink an entire glass of water because for me, I need to hydrate.
Awesome. What's the 5-minute meditation look like?
It is actually on an app because I need some sort of guided meditation. So I use an app and I have a favorite one and it's actually called Morning Meditation in Bed. So it's pretty simple to do. I grab my phone, do that, and I try and do that before I look at any emails, any Instagram, anything like that, just to get myself focused and ready for the day. And it's been a practice I've been doing since January and it's made a huge difference in my performance.
Love that. It's a pretty foolproof practice. I mean, it's named perfectly.
5 minutes, that's all you need.
Tiny habits.
That's all you need. Well, thanks so much for being with us. We're excited to welcome Rhett Lindsay to the show. He's the founder and CEO of The Diverse Perspective. Good morning, Rhett.
Good morning, how are you?
So tell us, what's your morning routine? How do you start your day?
So I start my day by giving thanks to the universe. I give my husband a kiss, my dog, Charlie, a kiss, and I cut on some Sade music and do some stretches. That, for me, helps prepare my day by just zoning out of my head, zoning into my body, and clearing out any thoughts that I might initially have in terms of expectations or anxieties, preparing for the day.
Fantastic. Oh, I know. What a way to start the day. I love Sade.
Well, thank you all so much for being with us today on #Wealth Wednesday. We're looking forward to continuing the conversation later in the show.
Shiny objects. I gotta say,
Right?
you guys. I mean, I always I'll get to my desk in the morning and I always find every excuse to not actually. I'm like, I gotta get the all the essential oils going and candlelit and everything right and the music on before I actually work. I'm like, this is more shiny objects. For when
I'm that way too. I like a very clean, uncluttered environment. It helps me feel much more clear, right? It does.
I know.
Yeah.
We were talking about that. I'm getting so neurotic though, you guys. I get to my meditation desk in the morning and I have all these crystals and all this stuff, and I go in to get I do the lemon and water before I have my coffee, and I'm pick only the cup that will match the meditation table. I'm it's getting bad.
Set the mood. It's all
so,
about the vibes, right? Well, I missed you guys so much yesterday.
We missed you more.
Well, I had a great weekend of some self-care. Special thanks to the team at Canali Salon for my new do.
Looks great, Jess. Love
Thank
it.
you.
Yeah.
And I also got to go to a super rad concert, you guys. This generation's Led Zeppelin. That's right. Sir Elton John said it was the best rock and roll he's heard in 20 years. We have a couple slideshow pictures captured by the Miranda Montenegro herself at Miramonte. You can see some more coverage of the Greta Van Fleet concert. They had a sold-out show at the Hollywood Palladium. I mean, absolutely incredible. The energy, the vibe of the room. This is rock and roll at its finest.
That's awesome.
Led Zeppelin. That was I'm gonna date myself. That was elementary school.
Was it? Yeah, I wasn't born yet.
So
They're playing some really great music from their new album, The Peaceful Army, and some really great classics too. So if you haven't checked them out, please do. And of course, follow Miramonte if you want to see some more great pictures.
Man, she's awesome. What a great photographer too. She does it all.
Yeah.
She captures the magic of the moment. That is for sure.
I love that. So speaking of Wealth Wednesday, we're talking about sales, and sales are important because I think of sales as like this. We're selling ourselves all day long. You're selling yourself on your own dreams or what you're up to. You're in that decision all day long. So I think it's important to get clear of how do you make a good sale? How do you make a good sale?
By not trying to sell. To be honest with you, it's one of the greatest tips. I've always struggled with that. I've always been challenged with this idea, I have to sell myself or sell a product or service. And so at some point I began to embrace that a little bit. But I did discover a couple of things which we'll talk about. But one thing I discovered was that it's always better when the other person sells themselves to you. Right? And so I think part of the way I operate is that. I'm just to not feel like I have to sell anything. I don't want to come from a place of need or desperation. But there was a way to come from a place of positivity and empowerment around sales. So how do we do that?
Yeah, and I think that you're completely right in that sales is not about trying to push something on somebody. It's having somebody see their own reality and create their own gap. So basically the first part is really getting clear of what the pain points are. What is motivating
and push.
somebody. Right? But really getting clear of what's that gap? If you were, this is your reality right now, and where do you want to align with? It's not about necessarily getting the next material thing. It's about who do you want to be in the world, whatever that is, and what's that gap, and really getting clear of the commitment level of stepping into whether that be a dream that you have or just a better version of yourself, or whatever that is, getting clear of that. And that really is what makes it, no one can make a sale. Like, you have to have somebody, whether it be yourself or somebody you're working with, to have them get clear of their commitment to themselves.
It's such a good point. I mean, I think I discovered early on I wanted to be a happiness coach. I was like, this is the one thing that I feel very deeply passionate about, mostly because I had struggled with unhappiness so much of my life. And I thought that when I called myself a happiness coach, people would call me and say, hey, I want help with happiness.
Right.
I discovered very quickly I wasn't identifying their pain point. So they were actually calling and saying, hey, I got a problem with my boyfriend or my girlfriend, or I don't have a boyfriend or girlfriend, I want one.
Yeah.
So you can help me, can you help me with this? And I sort of very quickly became a relationship coach by default, by accident, because I hadn't done that. I hadn't identified people's real pain point, which was really around relationships.
Well, that's one of the top 10 psychological traits of a good salesman is building empathy. It's all about the empathy and creating trust with the person. It's not really about the product and the service. Of course, that has to be picture perfect, but it's about the relationship.
Very true.
Yeah,
People
I bet
do buy
yes.
people and reasons over the actual product. But so I think you're completely correct, you guys, in that you've got to create that gap. So even with yourself today, thinking about what is it that you really want to manifest in your life, what do you want to fulfill upon in dreams, and creating that gap and getting the reality of, if you don't do something about it, are you going to be okay with yourself, which is fine, but getting clear of what that is, and then basically getting committed, and then discovering, now what are your choices? How do you get there? And beginning to, that's why people do get coaches or mentors, hint, hint, Rob Mack's a great one. Basically getting clear of what's the best way to get there. And that's why all the greatest athletes, all the greatest actors, people have coaches. This is not anything pretty much everybody has a teacher or
oh my gosh, Michael Jordan, Tiger Woods, Tom Brady, everybody has a coach.
Yeah. So getting clear of how to do that, and then basically to close the deal, though, basically you want to get to a place where you're juxtapositioning, right? So if you go out there, you research a bunch of coaches, go look. There's coaches that charge $1 million a year. There's coaches that are $100,000 a year, and then there's people that charge maybe $10,000 or whatever that is. So if you're selling or if you're looking, begin to juxtaposition of, you're going to go to college. What did it take? How many years and how much years?
Oh dear, it's a good point.
Right. So you can hack the system by getting somebody who is basically doing it for a fraction of the price. That's a juxtaposition and scarcity.
Yeah.
It's not available all the time. It's got a wait list, right?
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, I love that point. I remember early on with sort of coaching. I don't know if you guys had the same experience, but I couldn't decide what I should price my services for, right? It's really difficult.
It's so difficult. I just want to get on the phone and help for free. But your time has value. The knowledge you've gained through your life experience or through your priceless education has a value.
Yeah, it's true.
It's hard to put a number on it, but you shouldn't feel guilty for doing so.
And it's interesting because I've had things given to me for free, and I've had to pay for things. And guess what? I've become a lot more committed when I have to pay for them.
Oh my goodness,
I value them a lot more. So actually, having people pay for services or product is actually doing them a favor because they get committed.
Oh, I love that point. I mean, when I started coaching, I literally gave my services away. I could give them, and I couldn't actually give them away because people would say, hey, how much is it? And I would set a price, and they'd say, that might be too expensive. And I'd say, well, I'll give it to you for free, and maybe just refer people. And I always discovered that a couple things would happen. Exactly. First, they would just suddenly disappear. Second, when they did show up, they weren't committed. Third, when they finished coaching, they weren't nearly as satisfied as the people that actually had paid.
Totally.
It's unbelievable.
Right? Yeah. So charge more. That's the moral of the story.
There it is. Exactly.
Anyway, let's take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk to our extraordinary guests about how they have created wealthy lives that they love. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Where can you watch the stories of people changing the world? EverTalk TV, the Netflix of talk. I'm Jez Moyer, the co-founder and host of EverTalk TV, and I am thrilled to introduce you to America's first live video streaming talk show network.
I'm so excited to be here on the couch with all you amazing people. I'm just in complete awe. Thank you.
Happy to be here. And for those who don't know what goes on, this is a big old, there's a lot going on here. You do this every day.
Live.
God bless you guys. I mean, people, there's a lot going on.
Thank you for having me. This is an awesome studio.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
I feel that. I can feel that.
How exciting Motivation Monday. And the guests this morning have been incredible.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here with you.
And we have Rachel Boston, who is in The Last Bridesmaid on Hallmark. It actually is dropping tomorrow, the 22nd, right?
It is. Tomorrow night's our premiere.
Woo!
Congratulations. I am so excited to welcome Jason and Ashley Waller to the show. Congratulations on the new beginnings. We're so excited for the premiere on MTV tonight.
Thank you guys. We appreciate it. Thank you.
The book is actually being shipped out today. It published this week.
Wow, congratulations.
You guys
are the
Super cool.
first show that I've actually done talking about the book.
I think this is my first time my book's been up on TV. This is awesome.
Our friends at Universal Pictures have a special delivery for us this morning from a tethered himself. Have you seen the film Us by Academy Award winner Jordan Peele?
You know, I'm sitting here next to you guys, and it's just like, this is a powerful moment for me. Like, you know, I'm humbled by it because it's like I'm sharing this movie with you guys, and you know, it's moving for me.
What are you most grateful for today?
I am so grateful to be here and to have the opportunity to be with all these wonderful, badass boss babes and with all of you. And it's just a wonderful opportunity to share the positive messages out in the world because I think the world really needs it right now.
What we've done and thanking me for the contribution we're making to their lives.
Oh,
and I
nice.
thought,
That's
this
great.
is what my purpose is. This is why I was born. Now,
Show it off.
up to you to choose the winner. Is it Annie? Is it Haley?
That's why I like this show. You know, years ago I did the Dinah Show, which is Dinah Shore, and it was a daytime show. And it was kind of like this. And it was just like very up, and it was all positive stuff. They didn't bring negative stuff to the audience. And that's why I feel with this show. It's very relaxed. You know, it's very professional, but it's quite a bit of fun.
You can binge watch and binge watch.
You can binge watch.
And you can binge watch, or you can binge watch. Please binge watch.
You can binge watch and binge them on EverTalk TV. Thanks for coming. Bye.
First TV experience. I'm so happy I did it with you.
Uplift and empower you. Anytime, anywhere on EverTalk TV, your home for talk.
Live from Los Angeles, welcome back to Good Morning LaLa on Wealth Wednesday. If you're somebody that wants to grow your business to a 6, 7, or 8-figure business, you definitely want to listen to this interview. So Chris Shugaton is in the house.
Yes.
How are you? You help e-commerce businesses grow. We want to talk to you.
Well, it's funny because in the last segment, you guys touched on the 3 most important things, and that is providing a solution to the main problems that they're having. They all have top 3 problems, building trust, and then having the right price. And all 3 of those you have to do in 2 minutes. In order
how
to
do
get
you do
the sale.
that?
Yep.
How do you do that in 2 minutes?
Well, one of the main platforms that we do is advertising on social media. So that's Facebook, that's Instagram, that's Snapchat. Now there's TikTok, if you guys haven't heard about it.
We have.
Okay, so people's attention span is about 2.5 minutes. They'll make a decision on their buying. And so we focus on e-commerce products. So what we do is we take mom and pop e-commerce businesses. This is like a husband and wife team or college buddies or any friends that just decided, you know what? This is a great product, let's put it out there. And they're making, somewhere between 0K to 30K per month, and then we'll take them to 1 million per month, essentially, using the power of social media ad technology, essentially. And so you have to convince them that your product solves the main problem, you build the trust, and that's the right offer and price in 2 minutes, because that's how long they take to make a buying decision.
So does this mean like a video that is a Facebook ad that is going to be, is that what you mean?
It's a video, it's an image, it's a GIF, it's a carousel, which is just like, showing a group of images, for example. And, most people are now buying on mobile. So that's why, most people are perusing social media in their in-between times, right? So when you wake up, you have the kids that are there getting, waiting for you, or you have work waiting for you, but you just have that 5 minutes in the morning, right? Or you're in an Uber and you're going somewhere and you're perusing social media. People make their buying decisions in 2 minutes.
What are some of the top tips you could say make that a successful ad, a successful impression in 2 minutes?
So the first thing is the first 3 seconds is really crucial. I think you guys can all say from your own experience that when you're scrolling, so it's really important that that first 3 seconds where you know that the eyeball is going to go to, most likely if it's a video, that means it's the first 3 seconds of the video. If it's an image, that has to be a really powerful image that what you're doing is you're just trying to stop the thumb. And then you're trying to get them to then stay there for about 10 seconds. And you really have to break it down incrementally by like 10 seconds. And every 10 seconds, you're trying to get them deeper, building the trust, right? And then getting them to take the next action that you want them to take.
So then let's take it.
It's really fun.
So we have a great ad. We have a great ad. It's less than 2.5 minutes. It gets their attention. It says learn more or swipe. Where do they go to? A webinar? Do they do an application? Do they go to a website?
They go to
What
the
do they do?
website. So keep in mind, the ad itself is about just 10 to 20 seconds. The rest of that, 1.5 minutes, goes on the site. So your website has to be very frictionless, and it has to take them through what you're trying to get them to do very seamlessly. And then they basically buy. They're like, yeah, cool. Because have you guys bought anything on?
Never.
No.
Online? Never. Of course, everything, right?
Everything,
Yeah.
right? And you'll see, sometimes, and maybe you'll come back 1 or 2 times. But that's the key. You want to get them to buy the first time they see you, or buy no more than the second or third time that they're exposed to you, because that's when the sale is profitable. Because now you can grow profitable and scale profitably.
So we're talking a little bit also about products and pricing. So that first purchase, we know that if it's over 500 or over 1,500, they want to get on a sales call, right? They won't purchase up to a certain amount. So that first thing they click through, should it be a $2 thing? Should it be a $49.95? Like, where's the first price for someone to be like, I'm going to purchase right now?
Well, so it's two different. So e-commerce businesses, you're trying to get them to a product, but a higher price point, they need education, right? First. And so your very first piece that you're presenting to them where they've never heard of you needs to educate on their biggest problem, because then you're just really building trust. That's your first priority. If it's what we call an average order value, which is the price point of, let's say, 500 all the way up to 1,000, it's the first piece is going to be address their biggest problem. Like you said, you were a happiness coach at first because you were
still am now, but I had to return to that. I had to come back around from a different place, from a different angle. But I was trying to sell essentially a service in a way that wasn't sellable.
Yeah, and then you realize, the problem here is relationships, and then you pivot, right? And that's what a lot of entrepreneurs, when they first start out, they have to adjust, because if the market is big and they have the same problem as you that you're trying to solve, then that could work. But then a lot of times you have to kind of make the adjustment and say, actually, the market, there's this problem. And if you really want to serve people, because ultimately that is what we're all doing, right? We want to make people's lives better. You want to first address those biggest problems, and then eventually go into a happiness coach.
Could you share with us maybe a specific example or a case study in which somebody partnered with you and you really took them to 8 figures?
Yeah, oh my gosh. So, there's so many that I can talk about. So we had this amazing entrepreneur. His name is Alex, and he was on Wall Street, actually. And after college, he was doing the 12 to 14 hours on Wall Street, and he was like, you know what? I really hate this. I'm very unhappy. And he wanted to travel, right? That was like his dream, was he wanted to be able to travel, and he wanted to show other people that it's possible to also run a business and travel. So he came up with these sunglasses, and these sunglasses are essentially unbreakable at an affordable price, about $35. And so he literally gets a golf cart and runs over the sunglasses, and they don't break at all, right? So they're indestructible. And so we took that, he was making about $3,000 per month when we first started with him. And so, but he didn't know how to position things, he didn't know what to do. He had a really terrible looking website. Sorry, Alex, I think you know that. And so then we essentially took him to 3,000. And now we're basically at about 400K in monthly revenue in 6 months. And that's because we capitalized on, okay, what are the biggest problems that people have with sunglasses? You lose them, they break, then you have to buy another one, especially when you're hiking, and
so if you buy these one sunglasses, you can travel the world and make 8 figures.
Yeah, exactly.
Gotta get the glasses.
Thank you so much for sharing your expertise with us. Please tell everyone where they can find and follow you.
Sugatan.io, Sugatan, like it's a ninja kick.
Yes.
Sugatan, Sugatan.io. And and we're just, any e-commerce entrepreneurs who are looking to scale their business and they're having issues.
Gotta get your Sugatan on.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Stay tuned. We'll be back with Morning LaLa Land. Where can you watch the stories of people changing the world? EverTalk TV, the Netflix of talk.
Who are 5 people that are the wind beneath your wings and in creating your legacy?
Wow. Wow. That is.
They can be living or past.
I know. This is like, I don't want to cry. Like seriously, it's like when you.
Tears of joy.
Like, no, it's like, you feel it right here. It's like, oh man, this is really tough for me. I had to say, Elaine McMahon, Elaine Howard, Pam Howard, Michael Jackson, Joseph Jackson, and my mother. I mean, they're really important to me, and they protect me, and they kept me safe.
EverTalk is #community powered, so we are excited to offer you a free 30-day subscription to explore the talk shows that will bring you timeless entertainment and evergreen conversations that will inspire, uplift, and empower you anytime, anywhere at EverTalk TV. Live from Los Angeles, welcome back to Good Morning LaLa. And on #Wealth Wednesday, we are so excited to introduce you to some overachieving products for us overachieving women. LaLa Kashani is with us. She is the co-founder and CEO of Alley-Oop. So tell us a little bit about your journey as an entrepreneur to creating this incredible line of products.
Sure. So as a really busy woman, and I think today's modern generation of women are just always busy, we're doing more than ever before.
Yes.
And I kept running into issues where my beauty routine or even just my getting ready routine was taking up way too much time.
I really want you to share, though, that Sphinx razor story.
Okay, so I was in the middle of a presentation. At the time, I was working for a toy company, and I was in charge of new toy development. And I was presenting to a buyer, and usually she's quite captivated by me because I was presenting some toys that were really successful in the past, and she just wasn't paying attention. And I noticed she was staring at my underarm. And I look under and I see that I had missed just one underarm shaving. The other one was completely shaved. But the other one was
at this moment?
Yeah. So I think that most people probably forget entirely. I don't know what happened at just one. So I joked and I said, I had time for one underarm and a blow dry. I didn't make it past that. And we laughed about it and I said, you know what, I have to figure out a solution for products that help solve problems when we're really busy.
Yes.
And to your point earlier about basketball, the reason why we named it Alley-Oop was because we wanted the products to always support you in helping you score.
Love that.
So everything is intended to add value, give you your time back, save you space, and just be really efficient so that you can focus on the things that really matter, like that, time with family or meditation or whatever else you want to do.
It'll tell you if you've shaved one.
Yeah. We should create an app for that.
As a scan of the body.
Yeah.
It's so important because we do want to spend more time in our lives and less time in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Our routines that can take us, upwards of 20, 30 minutes every day.
Oh
morning
yeah,
and
I figured out a way I call myself efficiency queen. I wear onesies because it's just one outfit you have to think about.
That's why I wear a dress.
Yeah, it's just so efficient that
One
way, right?
piece. Totally. So tell us a little bit about the products you brought today.
Sure. So I'll start with this one because I think it's one of my favorites. It's called Tip Off. When you might not know this, but when your makeup starts running or the next morning you thought you took it off and there's like a little bit left over.
It's never all the way
Yeah,
gone.
so it's filled with makeup remover inside. So you'll just take this, you'll twist it, the makeup remover will pour off on the other side, and now you can clean up whatever
This
area.
is a single girl's dream.
Oh, yeah.
It's really cool. It's like spy gear.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Wow.
I keep that with me because my wing will get ruined or I'll wake up in the morning and I've already left the house because sometimes I don't have time to do a full routine and it's just still running and I'll just clean up along the way.
Who would ever have thought of?
I know. What else do you have here?
Absolute genius.
When you wake up with raccoon eyes enough times, did you
think of it?
Yeah, so there's a couple of more actually that I think are even more efficient with our time. I wanted to figure out a way to do my whole makeup with one product. So this is a 4-in-1 pen. There is an eyeliner inside.
This is hilarious.
This is amazing.
This is brilliant.
There's a brow filler inside.
Wow.
There's an inner eye highlighter. I'm wearing all of this right now, my brow filler, everything. And then this is the lip color I'm wearing too.
I have the
wow.
kid version of that with the different colors as a pen. If I can do my lips, my brows, and my lids, that is absolute genius. It's so multifunctional, cruelty-free.
Yeah, everything's cruelty-free.
Or like red carpets, when you have a little tiny clutch and you
just need to
can't
touch
bring
up.
your makeup bag.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
This is a unicorn business. Not here on Good Morning La La Land. Oh my goodness.
So yeah, what else? We want to see what other things you're coming up with.
So
This
we
is
have actually
fascinating.
a group of women who give us feedback every day. It's about 200 to 300 women who test products, tell us the problems they're having. So it's not just me in a silo. I can only, I might have some problems that no other people are having, and there might be some that people are having that I'm not having. So the women were complaining about carrying so many brushes in their makeup bag and not needing all those different brushes. So we took a survey and we asked them what the most brushes that they wanted. Originally I had designed this with 2 brushes on both sides, but they kept saying they wanted to see a sponge. So I had to redesign it, re-engineer it. But then inside, it's all those other brushes that you would be using. So you can really just take this with you, keep this in your makeup bag, and replace everything else, saving you space and also time.
It's really brilliant.
You as an entrepreneur, where do you think you developed your imagination, your innovation?
You know, that's an interesting question. I think I'm a child inside. I think that there's a lot of freedom to play when you're a kid and there's not so many rules. And so my signature of my company is CEO and Director of Fun. So I like to have fun, and I think you have more creativity when you have fun, and then you invite conversations more, and then you could just kind of brainstorm with people.
That's
so.
empirically valid. Yeah, science says
Yeah,
so.
yeah, so good. Then I feel like
Well, we are so excited to continue to follow your journey and get these incredibly innovative products. Please tell everyone where they can find and follow.
You can find us at meetalleyoup.com.
Fantastic.
Amazing.
Thank you so much
Stay
for
tuned.
having
Back with
me.
more on Good Morning La La Land. You watch the stories of people changing the world. Ever Talk TV, the Netflix of talk.
Tell me where I'm
If you could describe the legacy you want to leave behind in a couple of words, what would it be?
You know, the person who made a massive dent in the world of loneliness. You know, it's the #1 health epidemic that we're facing in the world today. It's the #1 predictor of our mortality. It's more likely to kill you than smoking, heart disease, traffic, the flu, sitting. And if I can make a dent in the world of loneliness, then that to me is everything.
Aw, I love your message and I love your story. And for you guys out there, go download Hey Vina. It's really, really remarkable. I downloaded it. They ask questions that actually help target who you're looking for and who you're looking to network with and become friends with. Thank you. If you like this, please share it, please comment it, and thank you again for being here.
Thank you for having me.
EverTalk is #community powered, so we are excited to offer you a free 30-day subscription to explore the talk shows that will bring you timeless entertainment and evergreen conversations that will inspire, uplift, and empower you anytime, anywhere at EverTalk TV.
Live from Los Angeles, welcome back to Good Morning La La. On today's modern world, it's very, very, very important that we have a perspective and have compassion and come from all different viewpoints. So Rhett is in the house. Rhett,
Yes.
I want to introduce you correctly. How do I pronounce your last name? Lindsay?
It's Lindsay.
It's
Yes,
really
ma'am.
beautiful.
Thank
you have
you.
the diverse perspective, which is super important in today's world, all the different viewpoints. So tell us a little bit about the platform.
Yeah, so the platform is a place where culture and content meets conversation. So I create a place for writers to be able to write unapologetically about certain topics or issues that they want to focus on, that they might be concerned about, whether it's social issues or lifestyle or parenting or fitness or health. Whatever you want to write about, you have a place where you can do that. Build your brand as a writer, and also for the community that's reading to engage in conversations.
I love it. So I have a perspective on all this.
Okay.
So on social media, we have a lot of viewpoints on politics and all this stuff, and I personally feel like if I can't actually do something about it, I don't feel like I should make anyone wrong or anything wrong. I feel like I'd be better off just focusing on what I can get done. But a platform where people can have a voice how do they do that without making someone wrong?
So really, it's about being open to understanding. So having conversation, and for there to be change, you have to have understanding. So if you have someone that has two different perspectives, they have to voice it. And when they voice it, you might not agree with it, but for you to have to be sparked by the change, you have to hear where they're coming from. And that's where the dialogue can happen.
Rhett, when did you recognize a personal need for this kind of platform in your own life?
Very good. I recognized it. I came out officially about 5 years ago to my family, and growing up, I always felt secluded, insecure, like I was not able to live my authentic self and have my authentic voice. So as a writer, I've always been passionate about writing, and I wanted to create a place where people can be themselves. Because we all have different viewpoints, we all have different perspectives. There's nothing wrong with that. But being able to be your authentic self and be unapologetic about that, that's the key. And being able to listen and understand.
That's just fantastic. So how have you been able to embrace this authentic self? Has it mostly been through expressing how you feel to certain people, to people at large, or what have you discovered about embracing who you authentically are and sort of loving who you authentically are?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think it starts by, and you hit it on earlier this morning, about investment and value, and it starts with knowing your self-value. So without knowing your self-value, you won't be able to have the self-growth, you won't be able to have the self-worth. You need self-worth, and once you know your self-worth, then that can translate into being your self-wealth. So those key things, your self-value goes to your self-worth, goes to your self-wealth. And for me, that's been very positive in my life as a CEO, as an entrepreneur, because without having an identity of my own and standing by that, it will not reflect on my product. And for up-and-coming entrepreneurs, they'll be too fixated on trying to create something for other people and not for themselves. And it has to reflect who is behind the platform. So once you understand that, that's key.
So interesting. I think it's interesting with all the different perspectives in the world. How do people manage it? You know, in one of my groups of communities that I develop, we have a kind of a rule that we go by that's called Feedback Fridays, and people give what they desire, what they need more support in, or what they'd like to see more, what they'd like to create more, but they can never come from a complaining or from a standpoint of what's wrong. So how do you manage that at all on your platform?
You know, I don't, because I want people to have the freedom to express themselves. So there are times where someone will comment something that might be their perspective, but it's a negative connotation behind it. But that's good. We need to see what's out there in the world. We can't shadow that. We can't blanket that. We need to see what people's viewpoints are to be able to spark the change. So to your question, I feel that because the platform is very expressive, I want people to be their authentic selves. Because if you're not, and you're being politically correct, you're not going to be able to be sparked by the change that might occur from someone else's viewpoints.
Interesting.
So, Rhett, what is your legacy that you're creating?
You know, I want to create a legacy of authenticity. I want to build a platform where writers are able to be sparked, to have their own voice. There's a lot of platforms that are a place where articles can be written by writers and up-and-coming writers, but they're overshadowed by a big blanket of content and media. But for the diverse perspective, I really want to focus on diverse people, and diverse meaning from all backgrounds.
Do you have a favorite post or writer, somebody you could share?
Yeah, there was an article that was written titled, Please Stop Acting Black, Please Stop Acting White, You're Black, and the identity of that complex within the African American community. And so the reason why I wanted to write that is because I myself, as a biracial individual who has a mixture of African American blood, Caucasian blood, Native American blood, there is this stigma behind what it means to be black, what it means to be your authentic self as a black African American man. People might judge us and say that, you know, looking at us, that we're probably not the ideal image of the black man. What does that mean though? You know, is my identity created based on my color or my personality?
It's a very prevalent challenge, right? It's really prevalent. I used to, of course, I struggled with that a lot. With an Ivy League school and all these things, and I would always joke and say, "Hey, let's hit the basketball court real quick. I'm gonna cross you," you know. And they would, but it's actually really common challenge that I think people from all different walks of life face, which is trying to be fully expressed and authentically themselves, but sort of working and living in a world where people like to compartmentalize.
Yes.
Yeah.
And why? Why is the need for that?
No need for it.
Thank you for creating the platform where people can live their authentic truths. Please tell everyone where they can find and follow.
You can find The Diverse Perspective at www.thediverseperspective.com, and you can follow myself at Rhett_Lindsay, and that's on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook.
Amazing. Awesome. Thank you so much.
so much.
Stay tuned. We'll be back more.
Thank you.
Where can you watch the stories of people changing the world? EverTalk TV, the Netflix of talk.
Welcome to the show. Today we have Life Master Tony Lanning. Today we have a very special guest, Alon Torres. Today we have a very special guest, Mark Harari, on the show, and he is you have really inspired me because you walk the walk, you talk the talk.
It's never too late, no matter what your age. Doesn't matter if you're young, it doesn't matter if you're older.
You know, over the last 10 plus years, 12 years, it's been this journey where as I was continuing to help others, I was helping myself. You know, as I went deeper, I was able to bring people deeper.
But you've got to put it aside. You've got to put it aside.
Right, that's one of his tips, is leave the at the door.
Drop it at the door.
But we can't give you too many more little tips because we're going to give away the whole thing. But there is a video if you click below.
I'm Life Master Tony Lanning.
Yay! See how easy that was?
EverTalk is #community powered, so we are excited to offer you a free 30-day subscription to explore the talk shows that will bring you timeless entertainment and evergreen conversations that will inspire, uplift, and empower you anytime, anywhere at EverTalk TV. Live from Los Angeles, welcome back to Good Morning LaLa Land. Today we are slaying the shiny object syndrome, and Lou, for actually creating profit. Stephanie, you kind of, Carney is in the house, and she's an incredible business mentor. Congratulations, baby number 3.
Thank you.
By the way.
Amazing.
So it's a very important conversation to be had beyond the shiny objects, identifying yourself as an entrepreneur outside of being a mom.
Yeah, so a lot of where I kind of stemmed all of this like business stuff from was by becoming a mom and realizing that my time was limited. I had limited resources, I had a lot of ambitions, and how do you do this all? And so a lot of what I kind of focused on was what can I focus on in order to be the most productive, the most efficient with my time, etc., without just like reorganizing your schedule and doing those types of things. So slaying shiny object syndrome, which really means just figuring out what is the most important things you can do in this very moment to move your business forward, to move your life forward. What is that one action you can take right now?
Yeah. It's a real challenge, right?
It is. I mean, there's so much out there that you see, like, should I be posting on Instagram? Should I start a podcast? Should I start a YouTube channel? Should I do all of these different things for my business? Or even your life, like, you know, do I do all these kid activities? What do I sign them up for? And it's really figuring out, okay, what is the best thing that's most aligned with you right now? And what's the best thing to move yourself forward?
It's so interesting because in my community that I train girls and entrepreneurs that are spiritual leaders, and it's the same thing. They want to play with their Instagram all day long, and I'm like, well, that's cool, but like it's not actually going to like get you in the track of actually producing something. And like, so do you think it's sales always? What is your go-to?
So, I mean, you do things that are closest to the money. Yes, that's one. But you also have to look at the bigger picture and what your end goal is. So you look at what are you selling, what are you doing, what is going to bring you one step closer to achieving that. And so, yes, you do tasks that are closest to the money, but also aligned with what you believe in and what you're all about. And so that's kind of how I help pick what to focus on.
So how do people decide that? Because I know, I come from a consulting background, and so much of the work for me has been focusing on best practices. This is what other people in your position or other companies in a similar industry or field might do. So you might gamble in this direction, but often that's misleading, particularly if it's not data-driven, right? So
well, it actually is data-driven. So my background, was a management consultant, and so I do look at data. So when I work with a client, I really look at every aspect of them. So, okay, let's look at your finances. Let's look at the things that you sell, but let's also look at where you are in your life and what you want. How much time do you have for your business? How much do you want to make in your business? What are your actual personal goals? Also with what's your mission, what do you value? So those types of things are aligned. So it's data in the fact that you really look at where your business has been, but then it's also data in where you are in your life. I mean, I'm on kid number 3, so my time and my resources are going to be more limited next year. So I'm really looking at, okay, what choices can I make for my business and for what I sign up to do in order to be,
It's tricky, I think, because from the logical standpoint, it makes sense. Do the most efficient thing that gets you the most results, and then you can hire the team, whatever. But a lot of the women I work with are not necessarily driven by money. They're driven by the feeling backed by how they're going to make an impact in the world. And if feeling good today is about, creating something, how do you dance between kind of that like more masculine way, if you will, in business versus listening to your intuition and really allowing that creative flow to happen?
So I actually made that transition. I was very, I would say, masculine. And actually today I released a podcast episode on defining your identity as a mother. And by becoming a mom, I embraced this whole new feminine side of intuition and like, what do I want? What do I need? What impact I want to make on this world? And I think it's really important to you're in business to make an impact and to make money. And honestly, if you're not doing either of those, then why are you in business?
It's a hobby.
It's a side hustle, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
And so when I say you need to prioritize and focus, you need to make sure those boxes are checked, that you are following your intuition and doing things that are going to be towards what impact you want to make. It's about choosing the priorities that are most important to you.
For sure. It's almost like we talked about earlier, like making a sale even with yourself.
Yeah.
You got to create that gap and be like, okay, if I don't do these things that are efficient, that are going to actually move the dollar, then it is a hobby, and I got to make the gap and sell myself and get it committed. For sure. Yeah, amazing. Well, obviously you're doing an incredible job. 3rd baby in. Oh my God.
Tell us a little bit about the podcast and the Power Mom Minute.
So the podcast is called the Power Mom Minute, and it's all about going behind the scenes of the lives of successful moms in business. And so my whole thing is that I love to see what people are doing. Like, what's the messy? What does your morning look like? Like the question that you asked earlier. What does your childcare situation look like? What do you leave messy at home, but what do you care about? What do you outsource? How do you make it work? Because I actually believe, it's kind of controversial, but I believe in balance. I truly believe
What is that?
Exactly. So balance for me is doing things and making choices that you are okay with. And so you have to be okay with those priorities, those choices you make, and that is balance.
But how is that controversial?
Well, most people say balance is unattainable. Like, there's no such thing. Like, you can't be a mom, you can't have a business, you can't do this all. And they're saying there's no such thing as balance. And I actually believe you can have balance and you can do it all, because if you're doing the things that you want and you prioritize, that is the choice that you are personally making. So you need to be okay with that. And so that is my definition.
And hire the rest. That's my plan. For sure.
Yes, well, no, and allowing yourself to rest. So if one day you just need to take a nap or get a massage or do something, you are making that choice for yourself, and that is okay, and that is part of balance. So so the Power Mom Minute is just about interviewing moms, me talking about my personal life, things like that, just everything about motherhood and business.
Well, thank you very much for sharing your genius with us. Please tell everyone where they can find and follow.
You can find me at stephanieuchima.com or at powermomminute.com.
Nice. Amazing. Stay tuned. We're back tomorrow. Good morning, LaLa Land. You watch the stories of people changing the world. EverTalk TV, the Netflix of talk.
Today I'm officially coming out of the closet as a mother. I've never publicly announced it. I've been a model for 15 years, and now I'm finally letting people know. I have 2 kids. I have a 16-year-old son, and my 13-year-old son will be 14 in another month and a half. Obviously explaining that I have a 16-year-old, people are gonna be like, wait, how old are you? And I'm under 40, I'm 36. Okay, let's just get that out there.
Oh, wow.
Coming out of the closet again.
You came out twice already today.
I know, oh my gosh.
I hope that our viewers are watching this to realize that when you have a passion and when it pays the bills and you can live a good life and provide for your children, there should be no shame in what you do.
Right.
EverTalk is #community powered, so we are excited to offer you a free 30-day subscription to explore the talk shows that will bring you timeless entertainment and evergreen conversations that will inspire, uplift, and empower you anytime, anywhere on EverTalk TV.
Live from Los Angeles, welcome back to Good Morning LaLa. Have you lost your mojo? I know I have at times. So it's Wealth Wednesday, and we often do. We get to work too hard, do whatever, and we are going to talk about how to recover your mojo. I want to hear about this, girl.
Absolutely.
So we have Deborah Kagan in the house. You are a recovery mojo specialist. Where did you? I mean, this is like, talk about a niche.
You know, I know you
the
don't
bitch
wake
has
up.
got a niche.
Hello, you don't wake up at 7 and think, I'm going to be a mojo recovery specialist when I grow up,
How
right?
did this come along?
But it's interesting. When I was a little girl, I did gather all the girls and have women's circles. I didn't know I was doing that as a kid, but I literally have been doing this my whole life.
Wow.
It's really interesting.
Incredible. It's incredible, yeah.
I read on your website that women see themselves most clearly in the reflection of other women.
Yes.
Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, women learn through osmosis. And you know, just even by seeing the two of you, it's great. You're a great influence for men, obviously. But to see the two of you each morning and women who see you, it's like, oh my goodness, this is possible. This is attainable. We have to have examples of powerful women in the world in order to become one. And so many of the women that come to work with me have not had a great example of what it is to be a woman who's in her power, comfortable in her skin, and really embodies the feminine.
But let's define.
Interesting.
What is, just so people, because what is mojo?
What is mojo? Yes, so mojo, it's a slang word, but you can think of it like prana for all of our yogis in the world, or chi, or ki, or life force.
Or just your own little magic?
Well, it's personal magnetism. And if you look it up in the slang dictionary, it does say personal magnetism.
I always thought it meant about like your sexuality.
Well, here's what's interesting. So sexual energy is life force. Same thing as mojo. But most people confuse our life force and sexual energy with sex. Like, sex is actually pretty simple, right? It's like two people having intercourse. We as humans complicate it a lot, okay? But we complicate it. It's actually, when you think about it, very simple.
So mojo's like when you're like, I'm feeling it today. Like, it doesn't matter if it's like I'm having sex or not. It's like, I've got my power, I've got my charisma. That's mojo.
Absolutely,
Okay,
and it's what people feel from you before you ever open your mouth.
Oh yeah,
Right?
We all want that. I'll have what she's having.
Yes.
So how can people find that, discover that for themselves, and express that?
Well, what I realized is that through this whole process, I created a 4-pillar system because I like systems. I think it makes it easier. And so the 4 parts are M, about mindset. You're great about this. You do, I mean, you all do these amazing videos and daily besides this show. And so we have to get our heads screwed on straight in order to check in with our beliefs and make sure
I could have made a big joke with that one, but I'm not going to go there.
Oh, go.
No. Don't get your mojo on. Sorry.
So we have to make sure we get our heads screwed on straight. So mindset is the first thing. Like, again, most people think like, ooh, sex, right, is mojo. We have to like separate that and get really clear about our own lives and our own beliefs.
We've got our mind right now.
Right.
What?
Second piece is what I call the oracle. And this is about your body, right? So this is our life below the neck. And I call it an oracle because our bodies always know. Our bodies carry the information of our entire life.
Yes.
And a lot of the times what happens is, and why we feel like we don't have our mojo, is because we're carrying these pains and these old stories that don't actually match the truth of who we are. And then we wake up one day and think, where the hell did my mojo go? Right? So we have to get into our oracle so we can be in our bodies and have that kind of power and presence in our life.
Love that.
For business or personal. The J of mojo is about joining with the different roles. And I love what Stephanie was just saying, because she was like, hey, I'm a mom, but I'm a business owner. And what happens is we usually will live in one lane in terms of a role, like only business person, right? And then we'll forget about our personal life. Or we get carried away and only live as like maybe mom role, and then we forget about the rest of our roles. And the one that's incredibly impactful for women is what I like to call the mojo-licious femme role. And that's the one that's super confident, living a turned on life, right? And I focus on that so much at my live events and in the mentoring that I do with women. Now the final pillar of mojo is that last O, and this is our oasis. And it's turning our environments into an oasis that fills and fuels us so it doesn't deplete us. And our environments have a massive impact on our success, personally and professionally.
Totally agree.
That's why your mug has to match.
There you go.
It's all about that. That's right.
That is
You've
so
been taking
important.
notes.
And that's why a lot of women feel the need to nest, if you will, to create a safe oasis where they can be fully self-expressed.
100%. And beauty is a big deal for women as well. And you know, it's become more important for men over the years, but it is something, it's a way that we can express ourselves, and it's the simple things, even like, you know, flowers, a certain color that resonates with you, whether, you know, you buy fresh flowers for yourself. It's funny, my dad, who has not really been into personal development until recently in life, he now buys himself flowers every single week, fresh flowers, because it literally perks up his mojo.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, and as much as this is just dedicated and focused on women, I really do feel men could learn from this. Right?
100%. I always say the work that I do and what I share, it's not gender specific. You know, it has been, you know, geared towards women because that's where I feel the highest need is, and that's, you know, I felt like I had lost my mojo. And the bigger why of what I do, and we are in October, which is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and the bigger why of my work is about ending violence towards women and girls. Because when women have their mojo, there will be less violence and sexual assault.
Stronger boundaries and less tolerance is key. So how do you live kind of a vulnerable life and be open and to live in your mojo, but still have those boundaries for yourself?
Well, it's about really creating, again, your own self-worth. And when you have your mojo, you feel powerful and you become a lot less tolerant of the BS. Right? Because now it's not acceptable. And when you're connected to your mojo, and this might sound a little, you know, LA, Southern California, energy, whatnot, but when you have your mojo, you are elevating your vibration. And I think we all know here, but certainly for the listeners, everything is energy. And science has proven that now. So when you elevate your vibration, the situations that are going to not be good for you, the ones that might be abusive, the ones that just might be bad business, you don't find them as easily anymore. It doesn't even resonate with who you become.
Totally.
So please tell everyone a little bit about the live event happening this weekend and where they can get more information about it.
And I have to say, it is the finale run. So we are bringing new things for 2020. This weekend, though, it is the Rock Your Mojo Women's Weekend. It's a 2.5-day event that is a deep dive, beautiful embodiment experience of these 4 pillars. The women that come, like, this is where I feel so blessed, because every single time they're extraordinary women that show up, and the love and that connection and learning from each other and that osmosis I mentioned, it's really come for the women. You can come for me, that's fine, but it's really like come for the women and what you're going to receive, because the women who come, they arrive on Friday, and then on Sunday evening, they are more of themselves. Everybody walks out more confident.
There's nothing more attractive than just knowing someone has their mind right, their body right, just knowing that they're in their presence fully. So thank you so much for all your work. I'm sure you touched so many women's lives through this work. Yeah. Thank you. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Can you watch the stories of people changing the world? EverTalk TV, the Netflix of talk.
All I can say to you guys is remember you are not alone. It's that simple. Just keep remembering you are not alone.
EverTalk is hashtag community powered, so we are excited to offer you a free 30-day subscription to explore the talk shows that will bring you timeless entertainment and evergreen conversations that will inspire, uplift, and empower you anytime, anywhere at EverTalk TV. Live from Los Angeles. Welcome back to Good Morning LaLa and hashtag Wealth Wednesday. We are so excited to welcome this award-winning digital innovator to the show, Christy Lawrence. She is the founder and CEO of Plan. That's right, she is changing the Instagram game. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
So tell us a little bit about your journey to creating one of the top grossing apps of all time.
Well, it was something that I wanted for myself, to be completely honest. I was illustrating and I had a full-time job in advertising, and I started making more money selling fashion illustrations than I did in my full-time job.
Wow.
And my friends were like, what are you doing? This is insane. And then I realized I was repeating myself, helping people all the time. And I thought there are just so many amazingly talented people in the world that if only they knew how to market themselves, then they too could have their own sustainable business or supplement their incomes by, learning how to be on Instagram. And Instagram's taken off, it's massive. So just jumped in and
landed in the pages of Vogue.
What's the difference between, there's like Planoly versus your platform? What is the difference between these?
Well, they're pretty much direct competitors at this point. I think almost, yeah. So we do very similar things. So my focus is more the standalone entrepreneur, where they might be specifically for beauty brands. So it depends on what you're looking for in a tool. So for example, Plan will help you more with the strategy side. So we'll help you learn what to post and when to post and why to post. So that was me. I wanted to put the analytics.
So
are great.
let's talk about that. I've heard all different things lately. I've heard that you're supposed to post 3 times a day. You're supposed to have one live that's an
Gary
hour
Vee says you
long.
should have 100 pieces of content a day.
I mean, so do you know what it is right now?
So there's no secret sauce that's for everybody, and it all comes down to who you are and who you're talking to. Because if you are speaking to everybody, then you're speaking to no one, right?
So smart.
Yeah, and you have to realize that you're talking to individuals. So pick your persona. So for example, I might be an athlete, or I might be a blogger and I am appealing to mums. So I might be feeding at 1 a.m. or I might be doing something else at odd times. So learning when they're online might be more beneficial than posting 100 times a day. So it comes down to the analytics again of if you understand when you're posting and why you're posting, you don't have to post that much. And that's the quickest way to burn out by the sounds of things.
Totally.
How did you avoid that burnout, though? I mean, splitting time between Oz and Silicon Valley, how do you stay balanced?
I consider my life as one big soup, and everything that I want to do, I fit in. So when I pop over here, I love roller skating. So after this, I'm probably going to head to
Oh, I love it. Yes.
and hit roller skating. So I have to be honest, it is tough. I don't have balance other than fitting in what I want. My team is, Plan now is over 30 staff in 10 countries. So when I wake up at stupid o'clock, there's always someone online to chat to and make sure, like for me, one of the big things, I wake up in Sydney and Instagram has released a new feature. And so we've got to be one step of the game. So we've got to find the people that are in America to teach us what's new, how it works, and then get on top of it and be thought leaders.
Wow.
So
well, I'm going to forever think of you whenever I say I get up at stupid
o'clock. Yes.
Forever. And
I define that as before the sun.
And forever when I'm posting on Instagram.
Yes, thank you for giving us the plan. Please tell everyone where they can find and follow and get more information.
So on Instagram, it's Plan That, so PLANNTHAT, or planthat.com, where we have a blog to teach you how to do all things Instagram for free.
Wow,
Thank you so much, Christy. We are Good Morning LaLa, and America's first live streaming daily talk show, coming to you live Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. All of today's interviews are available as a podcast on iTunes, and the whole show is streaming on EverTalk TV, on Apple TV, and Roku.
That's right. We are waking up the world together, you guys. Have a great Wealth Wednesday and claim your birthright of prosperity.
It's going to be a good morning, LaLa Land.